Happy Saturday to everyone. I'm Coloradoan sports columnist Matt Stevens, joined by Kelly Lyell here at Maverik Stadium in Logan, Utah, where Colorado State Rams at 5 p.m. will kick off Mountain West play against a very formidable opponent.
Yeah, this is a really huge game. It's not only the Mountain West opener, but this is one of the teams the Rams have to beat if they want to be a legitimate contender for the Mountain Division title in the Mountain West. It's the first game in a three-game stretch, as we've talked about a lot this week. You know, Boise State and Air Force are after it, but none of those are going to matter if they don't win this one here. So this is really critical.
All right, it's basically, if CSU can maybe win two of these next three, they can have a real shot at winning a Mountain West championship, at least a divisional title. But to do that, they're going to have to get past a very stingy Utah State defense.
Yeah, that's going to be the hardest thing for the Rams. I mean, this is a really good Utah State defense. This Utah State defense shut down a really good Colorado State offense last year. The Rams ended up winning 16-13 at Hughes Stadium, but it took three long Jared Roberts field goals, two of them in the last minute 50 to pull out that victory. 2 years ago when the Rams were here, Garrett Grayson was quarterback. They had a Capri Bibbs at running back. They were held scoreless by this Utah State team. So these Aggies are really good on defense.
Yeah, last season, or 2 years ago, like you said, Capri Bibbs. Last season, CSU has D. Hart. And those two seasons combined, CSU had 108 total yards as a team rushing. You don't expect them to run successfully, but if there's a guy to do it, who do you think it is?
You know, this is a game where it's going to be really interesting to see. I think they're going to use that mix of Dalen Dawkins, assuming he's healthy enough, and he looked in practice this week like he was, and Jason Oden. Jason Oden showed him a little something last week. I think they're going to use a little bit of that combo, kind of power back. I don't want to say scat back because Dalen's a much tougher runner than that, but he's a small, shifty guy with good moves, good speed. I think Dawkins is probably the guy that's going to be the most effective against this defense, but most effective might mean a 60-yard day. I mean, this is a really good Utah State defense with the linebackers in particular. I mean, Nick Vigil, Kyler Fackrell, those are probably the two best defensive players in the Mountain West this year, and their teammates.
Defensively, Utah State we know is strong. Offensively, they've struggled this year. Ranked bottom 100, I think, in the nation in most of the major categories on offense. Without Chucky Keaton today, he's 2 weeks ago out of that Washington game got hurt. This is Utah State's first game since then. They had a bye last week. But they do bring in a sophomore quarterback in Kent Myers, who isn't Chucky Keaton, but he's 4-1 as a starter coming in for Chucky last year, with his only loss being against Boise State.
Yeah, Kent Myers is a very capable quarterback. He's proven himself. He's been in this situation before because Chucky Keaton's gone down. Now, last year, Utah State went through a slew of quarterbacks. They lost Darrell Garrettson at Colorado State, had to go with the third-string guy. Kent, I think, was the fourth-string guy at one point last year. But as you said, I think he's either 4-1. I think it's even 5-1 now, maybe as a starter. But very, very effective. He's not Chucky Keaton, but he seems to be able to do enough to get this offense going. It's not a good offense. All they need to do, though, with the defense they have, their success comes in just controlling the ball, eating up the clock, and making other teams try to go long distances against their defense, and it's hard to do.
And I think a big player for CSU today will be Hayden Hunt, the punter. Just in those times where the defense Utah State's defense really stalls out the offense, flip that field position so Utah State has a long way to go with a not so great of an offense.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a real thing. Special teams play, the punters being able to win that punting battle. Fortunately for Colorado State, Hayden Hunt averages about 8-9 yards a punt, more than Utah State's punter. The Rams have been good in their coverage units. This is where they need Wyatt Bryan probably to step up and be a real solid kicker. They need him to be the guy that made the game-tying field goal to force overtime against Minnesota instead of the one that missed a couple against Colorado.
Like I said earlier, the game kicks off at 5 p.m. We'll have a live chat at Coloradoan.com and more coverage throughout the night, so stay tuned.